Yes, welcome to Synchronicity. I only 2 episodes last week. What's the matter with me? I'm like totally slacking on insane amounts of output. I'm getting ready to go to LA. Welcome. In case you're not here yet. Now are you here? Because I just said welcome 25 times. I'm getting ready to go to Los Angeles. That's the city of angels. That's where angels live. I just got back from New York City. That's where demons live. They're both great, just to be clear. They're both amazing allies on our road to ascension. And that's what we're doing here. But today, I want to talk about something. All right. I got an email last week, and she knows who she is. I offered to get on the phone with her. I offered to basically just I shouldn't have, just to be clear. Like, there is a certain dynamic that can take place when things are going really well, especially if you're putting it out there publicly. People who don't feel that things are going well for them, and that's the key there, can kind of react negatively. And one of the ways that they can do that is by kind of just like psychically vomiting on other people. And I don't judge people for this. I know I've done it in the past. I'm sure I have. But it is a boundaries thing, and it's something I'm learning. And I'm just like appreciating getting better at the boundary stuff, because I recognize as I get more attention and more things are happening to me, there's going to be more people, and that's going to be a spectrum of people. And like, crazily enough, 95% of all communications I get on all of the platforms, like, they're so positive. It's like it defies the laws of the internet, but it's true. But anyway, I did get in an email last week, and it made me think a little bit deeper about some of the things that I've been saying, related to imagination, not backtracking on anything, just to be clear, but I wanted to give some more nuance, especially as it relates to money and financial wealth and personal wealth and just all of this stuff, because I know that, like, let's be clear. Imagination creates reality. Your consciousness is the only reality. But if you're not at a place where you can even get a second to stop and appreciate that truth, it's just going to be totally lost to you. So there's no real practical functionality to it, right? The operative mechanism, which is you, ceases to be because you're caught up in someone else's idea or some other concept of what you believe that isn't that your consciousness literally creates everything you feel and believe. So the email, I'm not going to there was a lot of long ones. And I will say this, if you're still listening to the person who wrote it, hit me up. I will get on the phone with you and talk to you, but I'm not going to do the 800 million word email game. I'm not doing that. I'm going to have to be a disciplined daddy right now. But the truth is the email started with like, oh, it's so great that you have all of the money in the world to do whatever you want to do. And I was like, wow, holy shit. This person clearly has not listened to this podcast for very long, because you will see the ebbs and flows in my life, in my mood, prior to me realizing that, oh, I have infinite wealth. Amazing. But prior to that, you will see my mood completely be dictated by my financial situation. It may not be totally easy to see because I put on a brave face even when shit was going rough, but go like to some of these 2015 podcasts, 2014 podcasts, really 15, and listen to my voice. I sound like a different person because I was completely caught up in this game, what our trans surfing friends would refer to the pendulum of money and financial gain. So I just want to be really clear about my financial situation right now, right? I just took out a not small amount of personal loans to consolidate debt that me and my wife had, to fund my dreams, to basically get the equipment and everything I need to be set up over the next however many months and years. So it's not like I imagined money and all of a sudden I won the lottery. I don't even play the lottery. That's not how I want to do it. My narrative and what I'm building for myself involves me putting this shit on my shoulders, carrying the weight and getting to the fucking finish line. So I'm comfortable. And the idea of taking out loans before terrified me. How am I going to do it? Where's it going to come from? Why am I doing this? Am I irresponsible? Is this just, do I have no accountability? Am I going to waste this? Am I going to pilfer it away? And you ask your friends, you ask your family, everyone has different perspectives. But what sealed the deal for me is not that I'm just delusional, and anyone's free to believe that. It's that I have faith. I have loyalty to the things that I've seen. There have been so many miraculous experiences and signs that follow my conviction and faith that to me at a certain point, it's like, fuck it. I'm not letting something like as illusory as the energetic revelation of money get in my way. Now, am I suggesting that you take out loans to fund your dreams and, do all this stuff? No, that's up to you. You need to feel it internally. So today, what we're going to talk about is failure, persistence, the law of assumption, the fact that you already have everything, and that when we talk about creation, or what some people refer to like in the law of attraction or the secret, it's like bringing things to you. That is not accurate. It already is. It's infinite. Everything already exists. You're just allowing that which is to express itself, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But I do I'm not based on my bank account wealthy. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm a normal person with debt and loans and bills and responsibilities. I have 2 kids. You know what I mean? Like this, I don't want to give the impression that like, oh, I realized my imagination was money and then suddenly a torrent of money the next day descended on me. Yeah, some weird shit popped up with YouTube and I embraced my kind of mystic art skills with tarot and astrology. But like, I had to take leaps of faith every single time. It wasn't easy. Do you know how hard? Dude, I did digital marketing for 10 years. I made a lot of people a lot of money. I made myself a good amount of money. But like 5 months ago, I was like, fuck that. I am not taking on any more clients. I'll do it for my friends. I'll do it for myself, but I'm not doing this anymore. And I decided to be a musician, full-time musician, podcaster, and practitioner of the divine arts. And lo and behold, but if you think that's like, I had to fucking make those decisions and believe in them and vision them and have faith that they're real. Now, my faith has been rewarded well past my level of expectation. I mean, it's truly remarkable, some of the things that have happened since then. But like to think that this was just bestowed upon me, that like I had the grace, not from my own effort and level of consciousness, is foolishness. It's just wrong. That's not how anything works. Your conceptions, feelings, and beliefs of who you are quite literally makes you who you are. So when someone writes to me and is like, hey, I am suffering, I am in poverty, nothing works out, everyone hates me, no one can do it, blah, 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 all this stuff. I am practicing on being compassionate after, the 5th or 6th time of someone sending me that, but I also am beginning to just recognize that's where they are right now. I will imagine them getting the peace of mind that they want, but you have to take this shit upon yourself. This is where maybe in the past I would have been a little softer and allowed people kind of to just take their escape route and be like, you know what? Yeah, like, no, like this is your shit. This is on you. This is the episode where I basically like, this is masculine energy, right? This is me telling you, you got to fucking own this shit for real. So let's talk about failure. Let's say you're imagining something, you're diligently doing it, you've locked it in, you feel it, you did, and then it doesn't happen, right? Maybe the exact opposite happens. Maybe shit just starts to go fucking crazy wrong. Externally, internally, all of this stuff is happening. Okay. And so your thing doesn't happen, right? Or so you think. And there's 2 questions you ask yourself. One is, did you persist? Did you have persistence? Did you persevere through all of the things that your senses were telling you and this world was telling you? If not, then you know what you need to do. You go back and you persevere. If yes, then it's really only because of one thing. And that's because you didn't assume the feeling of naturalness. So once you really click this shit in, it feels natural. It feels normal. It doesn't feel like you thinking of something. It's living from it. And I know that's kind of just like a syntax thing for a lot of people, but it is a very clear state of consciousness that when it feels natural to you, it inevitably will unfold in this life. But if it feels unnatural, if you're imagining it, if you're doing all these techniques, if you're feeling it, but it still feels foreign to you, then you're not in this state of naturalness. So how that relates to failure is, You may be doing these techniques, like I've said before, these techniques are just bridges, they're tricks, they're ways to get us to recognize that this is how everything works, that consciousness is the only reality, that everything else unfolds from there. That's the cause, everything else is the effect. But they're just tricks. They're not really some special thing. So you can be doing these techniques diligently, day after day after day, week after week, year after year, month after month, whatever. I don't know why I went to years before months. But if it doesn't feel natural to you, if it doesn't feel like, hey, this is something, I have it, I know it, and it might not be right in front of your face, but I have it. I definitely have it. I know it. Then that will lead to this state of you kind of just pushing it off. You can't fail when it feels natural to you. And this brings us to the law of assumption. And I don't know how much I've spoken about this, but it's incredibly important. It's essentially the gist of all of the Goddard techniques. It's just, again, how whatever metaphysical tradition or conception or philosophy you want to look at from, this is what they're talking about. And the law of assumption is you assume you have or you are whatever you want or want to be. That's it. You just assume it. And assuming is a double word, right? Assuming means, I assume, I guess that's what's going to happen. I am intuiting that's what's going to happen. But it also means you assume the role of something, right? So if I'm an actor and I want to play the role of a wrestler, I'm Mickey Rourke, right? I need to now put myself in the role of that actor. And so we look at let's look at the modality of acting. Why are so many actors stars? Why are they celebrities? Why do they have so much attention? Well, because a lot of them are very comfortable shifting and assuming states of consciousness and roles. They do it because method acting, they get in the head of their character. That is what we're doing here. And I'm sure many actors, many artists, they recognize that they're doing this and they kind of use it to some degree and shape their lives. And some maybe are more aware of it than others. But very few people, as far as I can tell, recognize that this is a power that extends past just their personal world and it extends into everything. And everyone has the ability to not only stabilize, their own health, their own wealth, their own amazing abilities. Once they do that, they can also help other people. So I was just having a lovely conversation with my babysitter right now. And, I put her onto Goddard when she first started working here. I think it was like a couple of months ago, maybe not even. And she had some physical ailments and they had been bothering her for years to the point where she had surgeries and all these other things. And I was like, you know what? I wasn't too pushy about it. I was like, read this Goddard stuff. And she did. And she was into it. And she's fine now. These things that had been plaguing her for years are now gone completely. And she's like in awe and disbelief, but she's loving it. And we were just talking and I was like, yeah, this is the first step. There's always other dimensions and levels as soon as we prove to ourselves that imagination creates reality. And I was like, the first thing you do is to prove that you do this for yourself. But then after you're comfortable and that feels natural, you start doing it for other people. Now, this is where we get into this idea of others and how puppet stringing people. So here's the truth. And this is true. And you may think I'm totally batshit insane for saying this. You can heal other people. You can bless other people. You can make amazing things happen for other people. I am very light in the way that I do that. I'm more comfortable speaking about these things, talking about them, putting them out there, and letting people prove it to themselves. Primarily for the reason, if I see someone who's suffering and I just alleviate their suffering, just because I'm like, okay, I'm just going to make it better for them. Not doing anything, just inside. They may get temporary relief, right? Their situation may resolve, but they won't know why and they won't know how. And to me, that's the most important thing. So yes, you can give a man a fish, but if you teach a man to fish, that man knows how to fish for the rest of his life. And more importantly, can teach another person how to fish. So that's why I don't go in typically and just alleviate suffering. Because that's the question, right? Why wouldn't God, why wouldn't this omnipotent source being, why would suffering be allowed to exist? If the ability to get rid of it, why would it be allowed? No, we've gone into this truth that pain, suffering, physical ailments, poverty mindsets, they're not there to vex us. They're not there to fuck us up. That's us misapprehending the situation. They're there to show us that we actually have the ability to transcend those things. Us alone, our own consciousness, our own sense of I am. So it flips the script on how we look a lot of these things, these troubling and uncomfortable moments, then actually become incredibly transformative and liberating moments. Like that's motherfucking alchemy. So again, the law of assumption is that you just believe and assume yourself to have or be that which you want or want to be. That's it. Now, we do this by repetition until we feel the feeling of what it would actually be like to be that person. Because again, this goes back to a lot of the people who have questions for the techniques. They're like, how do I do it? Like, you're doing it all of the time. You're never not doing this. Your whole world is this. In fact, I don't even think we move. I think this whole idea of motion is an illusion. I've been, here's an aside. Look at that. I said, here's an aside instead of just going off into a 10-minute tangent. Nice moves, Noah. I read the Transurfing volumes 1 through 4, and now I'm on Tafty the Princess. It's spelled Toofty, but it's Tafty. That's how they say it. And it's good. And it is, the guy who wrote them, I think he's channeling, and they're very good. I like the style, but it is just another representation of how consciousness works. He's got this whole technique, or Tafty has this technique of the braid. It's kind of like this psychic sensor that's on your back, and you lift it up kind of like a tail, and you hook it into the reality you want. Whatever floats your boat, that is the truth. All of this stuff is valid. I will say, at a certain point, it appears to me that some people get caught up in the method and the means of how to achieve unity consciousness or all your desires or your dreams or pop out of the matrix or whatever. And I think that's another pitfall. I mean, I don't think it. I know it's another pitfall. If you start getting too caught up in the methodology and, there's 12 dimensions and there's 24 and there's 1,000 and this positioning of this planet and that. And, I do this shit. I love it. It's all valid. These energetic maps and tools are incredible. But if it becomes your shit and that's what it all is, you're conceptualizing it and you're forgetting how to put it into practice in your life. True masters of this stuff don't have to come up with elaborately complex descriptions of what it is. If they're doing it for fun, that's great. But a lot of times I see some of this new agey stuff, like it's so over the top, and you can see they're just so fucking serious about it. Like, oh my God, it's like, chill out. Like, it's not that serious. Like, it's actually, that seriousness is what prevents people looking in from getting into it. They're like, oh my God. And then the people who are in it, they can get caught up in this. And this is the Transurfing idea, this pendulum, right? So pendulums, let's talk about pendulums. Pendulums are essentially these energetic movement entities that move like a pendulum. If you've seen a grandfather clock, there's that thing that swings, or a perpetual motion machine where like it moves and it hits the balls, the silver balls, and they keep going. It just keeps going. And the way it keeps going, it feeds off each push, positive and negative, propels it further and further, and it's a wider arc and encompasses more people. So let's relate this to something like money. Okay. Money is perhaps, it's one of the strongest, if not, no, it's not but it is one of the strongest pendulums I've encountered in this reality. It is so easy to get caught up in either the negative or positive polarities of money, which is just energy, but money. I need it. I don't have enough. I want more. How should I spend it? All of these things, right? So the negative, how you get caught in a pendulum is you start identifying with it as kind of your chief aim. So if my chief aim starts as, hey, I just want to make music and I want to like spread good intentions and vibes and wake people up, that's great. As long as I operate from that place, everything is well. But if then because of that, I start noticing, hey, I'm getting followers, I'm getting subscribers, I'm making money, shit is going good, I can see how this is going to map out. I then get caught in this pendulum of money, and it starts to shift my attention, which is my consciousness, which is everything, towards this idea of making money. And if I get caught up in that, it's not necessarily that it's bad. You can ride these pendulums and actually use them quite well. But If I get caught up in it and forget what I'm doing, I am now subservient to that pendulum in both ways. So if I have money, I'm feeling great because I have money. If I don't have money, I'm feeling bad because I don't have money. And that's a really motherfucking shit thing to get caught in, because money isn't real. And I know if you don't have money and you're poverty, you're like, fuck you, Noah. 100%, pay my bills with that idea. Go to my landlord and tell him that money isn't real. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's an idea. Okay. Now here's where I weave in cryptocurrency, because I see a lot more people, a lot of smart people starting to kind of tune in to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Money is not real. It is a concept. Trace it back. Most people don't even understand where money came from. It really didn't exist as a commodity until basically kings and queens in various realms. The way shit used to work, there's a wonderful book that lays this out by Douglas Rushkoff, Throwing Rocks at the Google Bus. But basically, there was bazaars, right? And I've spoken about this on crypto episodes. Sorry if you fucking hate this shit, but this is how money came to be, okay? The way we know it. So there were bazaars, and that meant if I made bread and you made shoes, and I needed shoes and you needed bread, we would have a medium of exchange where I'd say, hey, here's some bread and you can give me these shoes, and we'd work it out. And all of the things work like that. And it was fucking great, because then people could, hey, you know what? I really have a passion for making necklaces. I'm going to be a necklace maker. Great. I need a necklace. I make, soup. I don't know why it's food, but soup. Anyway, this is how everything worked. However, as feudalism and these other institutions began to emerge, the kings and the royalty and the noble were like, this sucks, man. Like, these people are doing whatever they want and we're supposed to be in charge. So not because they were dicks, they might have been, but probably because they were just caught in the pendulum. So what they said is, hey, now there's going to be one currency. It's called the coin of the realm, and everyone has to use this. And if you don't use it, we're going to kill you. And they did. And that is a pretty effective way of getting people to do things. It's not the best, but that's basically what happened. And from there, we saw this kind of, Adam Smith and commerce come to the New World. And to be clear, like what used to be used as currency in the Native Americans was wampum. There were basically these shells, not basically, they were shells strung together on a thread or a string, and that's what they would use. So everything has kind of evolved from this idea of using physical goods as a representation of value, which then we use to exchange goods, services, whatever. Now, this has been further and further kind of abstracted until we find ourselves in the world where we are today, where credit and debt and loan and dollars, like they're just these vague ideas that like people just accept, but they don't drill down and look at them. So where this manifested for me is in 2013, someone told me about Bitcoin because I was into drugs, and you could look at, because I was into I'm still into drugs, but on the dark web, Silk Road, you could buy stuff. I never did. I just want to be clear. And I would cop to it if I did. But you could buy stuff, and the only thing you could buy it with was Bitcoin, because it was theoretically anonymous, which, just to be clear, Bitcoin is not anonymous. So if you are using it for that, they know who you are. And by they, I mean the NSA and the IRS. So don't do that shit. But I mean, there is theoretically a way to be anonymous. You could just start a new account on do a paper wallet. I'm not going to get into anyway. Neither here nor there. But what drew me to Bitcoin is that it was decentralized, meaning that not one entity controlled it, that it was immutable, which means no one could change anything that was written to this thing called the blockchain. And it was sustained by consciousness. That's what gave it its value, just like dollars, just like yen, just like everything. It's consciousness that gives it its value. If all of a sudden we all decide that dollars are useless, they're useless. They're little pieces of paper with funny guys' faces on them, right? That's like, it's ridiculous. But we believe in it, therefore we support it. And if this isn't proof that imagination, creates reality, I don't know what is. But anyway, what's cool about Bitcoin, and why I have been saying people should get it, and why I run a crypto server and all this stuff, is it is the clearest indicator that money is just energy and that it's just a concept. In 2017, when I put in $5,000 and I had some Bitcoin, it turned into $135,000 in, what was it, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Yeah, I had to do a lot of shit. I was glued to the computer, but that's fucking insane. Okay. I did not keep all that money. I only cashed out about a quarter of that before everything cratered, but shit is about to pop off again. So get on it. But anyway, my point is this: money is just consciousness. It is something that actually is shown and comes in your reality as you change your internal state. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky for people because our senses deny this. They just do not uphold this reality that how we feel about ourselves, what we believe about ourselves creates reality. But it's true. And I saw this in the Tafty stuff. She's talking about how Tafty the priestess, she's talking about how, you know, everything is a movie and this is a frame. We can't actually control the frame from this standpoint, but if we pre-select what we'd like to see, we can. That's the fucking imaginal techniques. Everyone talks about this Buddhism with their Dzogchen and their intense visualization and using dream states, the dream yogas of Naropa. Like, everyone talks about this stuff. We just miss it because, again, we get caught up in the literal value or conception of these things, and it's just wrong. So think of it like this in terms of like the law of assumption and naturalness. Imagine if you were trying to ride a bike somewhere. Okay, you need to go. It's not that far. It's like a mile away. It's an easy bike ride. You can do it. But you have 10 or 12 concrete blocks tied to your waist, and you're trying to ride this bike. What's going to happen? You're going to fall over every single time you try to pedal off, right? Every single time. So those weights are your doubts, your fears, your worries, and your disbelief that this is how the world works. So to the ability that you can cut those weights off you, take a pair of scissors, cut them off, you'll be able to effortlessly, naturally pedal to your destination and get there probably pretty quickly because you're good at riding bikes. So how do we cut those weights? What are some of the tools and mechanisms we can use? We've covered a lot of the imaginal techniques. We've covered how it really is just the feeling of the belief. But what happens if the opposite starts to happen? Okay. What does that mean, the opposite? What it means is that maybe these states of doubt and fear get more intense in you. Maybe your external reality begins to crumble. Maybe just relationships and circumstances, they go nuts. This is you pressure testing your new reality. Okay. This is you saying, hey, if this is really how it works, I need to like make sure that I fucking do this in the harshest of circumstances. Not everyone does this to themselves. Not everyone does, but some people do. And these are the people who usually find themselves in very dire straits. But if you're pressure testing yourself, this is your test. Persevere, have persistence, and assume you are the person you want to be. That's it. That's literally it. It's the only thing that changes this reality. And if that feels hard, like, here's what I do. I just want to be clear. I'm sitting around blissed out most of the time these days, but not all of the time, especially during this Scorpio Mercury retrograde season. I'm going back. I'm processing old trauma. I'm dealing with shit that I thought I dealt with. And it's like, oh man, really that? But I do certain things to remind myself. I create art. I create music. I tweet. I create Instagrams as a reminder for myself that I am doing these things. They now exist in the world. I exercise now. I tweeted this the other day. I have to exercise, okay? If I don't, it's not because I want to be in good shape. I do, and I am, and it's fucking great, and I love it. It's fun being attractive and sexy. But I do it because if I don't flow the way I need to navigate this world in the confident manner that I know is my natural state. And like, yes, if I couldn't exercise for a week, I wouldn't crumble, but it's a priority for me. It's a habit that I've formed now that I wouldn't say I rely on it, but I use it. Just like weed. I look at it like weed. I explain this to a lot of people. Because people are like, I'm addicted to weed. Maybe it's like, well, is it helping you or hindering you? If it's hindering you, yeah, you're addicted. Stop that shit and you're not in control of yourself. If it's helping you, are you really addicted? Are you addicted to water? Because like when I drink water, I feel good. If I don't drink water, I die. So are you addicted to water or is it just something that's healthy for you? Being able to distinguish those two things and recognize when you're just kind of lying to yourself is critically important. And that is why sometimes when we want something or we desire something and we use these techniques, they don't happen. We're essentially lying to ourselves. It's this idea of thinking of the thing. If I say, I'm rich, and then immediately it's felt by a feeling of like, no, you're not. That's what's delivered to you. Again, your subconscious is feminine, right? It receives, it's impersonal, it's non selective, it gives you and births whatever you feel and believe to be true. So even if you're saying all of your affirmations, I am this, I am this, I am this, if you're doubting it immediately after, that's what you're giving yourself. So you may be like, oh my God, this is terrifying. Now I actually have to like, no, it's not. You know what the quickest shortcut to this is? You start with, I effortlessly am able to imagine what is best for me. Start with that. I effortlessly imagine what is best for me. Okay. I made a deal with myself when I really started to understand what was going on that I never fuck my shit up. You understand? I never fuck it up. I made a deal. I high five myself. I got my little astral guy who goes and get me stuff now. And I say, bruh, we are good. We do not fuck our shit up. That means if there's uncomfortable circumstances, I act a way I didn't want to, I get stuck in a state for a little longer than I did, it's all good. It's all perfect. It's part of the process. It's inevitably meant for my own development and good. And you could say, oh, well, that's just delusional. That's just, you being crazy and not dealing with problems. Okay, well, the proof is in the pudding. That's all I know. No one can tell me that this shit isn't working, not because of the objective proof that it's working, but because of my internal state. The most skeptical, annoying, horrible person could come up to me like, this is bullshit. I have science. I have facts. I have logic. You're wrong. And all I'd say is like, bruh, when my kid was in the hospital and I felt fucking normal and grounded and on top of my situation, I'm never going to forget that. Okay. You can't say anything to me that will shake that foundation of faith because I experienced it. And once you experience something over and over and over, no one is shaking that shit from you. Only you can shake it from you. And only if you forget. And that's what we kind of do here. We put ourselves in this amnesia-like state where we forget we're God, where we forget we're everything, where we forget this is a playground and a place to have fun. Yes, there's death and suffering and all of these things. Part of the fun is bearing witness to that and recognizing we can change it with our minds. Water into wine. Water is your undisciplined flowing consciousness. You turn it into wine, which is your wish fulfilled with your mind. Okay. In just for those of you who are like, he's yelling at me today, a lot of the music I'm making will convey this in a much more gentler, palatable way. And a lot of it is not overt. So the lyrics I'm using, it's a lot of double speak, it's a lot of hidden stuff, but the melodies are beautiful and the grooves are good. So people are going to vibe to it and not even know that like there's some subliminal shit in there that's really designed to just get people to be like, yo, you are fucking awesome. You're the coolest. You're the best. And like, it's just like, you'll get it. You'll get it when you get it. But I know the money thing is tough for a lot of people, especially in these last couple of months of 2019. And we'll do the 2020 episode when I'm back from LA. But this is the karmic purge for those of us who are facing our final bosses, of karma, of the situations we've created. Money is involved with a lot of that because it's something that the fear of lack and the feeling of lack just perpetuates the situation of like, oh God, let me put it this way. Some of the stuff I bought with my loans. Here's some of the stuff. Audio equipment that I use every day. An exercise bike that I use every day. A printer that I use. Like I use all this stuff and I'm so happy I have it. And if the idea of like, I don't want to take on any debt ever because that's not smart would have prevented me from having these things. And again, do not foolishly rack up debt because you think that's smart. Know that it feeds a higher purpose for yourself. That's it. That's what it's there for. Don't doubt that. If you can feel natural as you're doing it, yeah, it's scary. Sign a fucking dotted line for a lot of money that I have to pay back with interest, but I know why I did it. I didn't do it because I'm greedy and I just want stuff. Me, 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 me. I did it because I'm like, this is a stepping stone. If this is the only thing, perceived thing that's standing in my way from realizing my dreams, fuck that. I'm getting it. Bullshit. And if you're like, hey, no, that's great, but I can't actually get loans, it doesn't matter. It's not what I'm talking about. It's accepting the natural state of having money and having wealth. And it's like, I, it sounds stupid. I understand it's not how shit is supposed to work, but I guarantee you it is. And with all of this stuff, like always, don't take my word for it. Try it yourself. Prove me wrong if you're a skeptic. But if you don't try this stuff, if you don't do it, you forfeit all right to actually complain and say I'm an idiot. So if you're looking to call me an idiot, you have to try it and fail. And just to be clear, like I've had people who hit me up and they're like, I did this for 2 weeks and nothing changed and it doesn't work and you're wrong. It's falsifiable. And I'm like, oh, guys, like really 2 weeks is what you gave it? Like how long did you live your life the way you've been living it and to achieve the results that you've been getting? Especially if you're unhappy. You gave that a long ass time. You gave this 2 fucking weeks, then you're not ready yet. If that's what you have for this shit to prove that it doesn't exist is 2 weeks, you are not ready. Like for real. If you give it 2 years and shit, nothing has happened, that's still not okay. Like it literally will take as long as it needs to for you to recognize this. I recommend rather becoming your own genie. Recognizing this, give yourself wishes and boons and gifts and keep asking for more. When you get to your second to last wish, ask for 1,000,000 more. You're a genie, okay? You're a genius. You're all of these things. And I promise you, when you wake up to that fact, you will know it and you will feel it and you will stabilize it. That's the thing. A lot of people get glimpses. A lot of people wake up, but then they put themselves back to sleep. I'm saying this as someone who did this for damn near 16 years. Yes, I would have these moments of waking up and fulfillment and stuff, but not like I have. Not like I have, because you stabilize it. And again, if when you're desiring something, there's this feeling of instability and kind of like being off, one of two things. One is just review the desire. Two is you may be feeling a pre-shock of something that's about to enter your life. It exists. It's there. You may be feeling it before it's actually unfolded. So don't make the misapprehension that, oh, well, you know, I'm not doing it right. You may be doing it perfectly. You may just be feeling what's already coming. This happens a lot, you know, with these kind of consciousness upgrades that are taking place. Again, time is a construct. It's not real. Now is the only moment, but there's also past, present, and future. Of course, we experience it linearly moving forward. In linear time, there are waves of people waking up, right? It's truly astounding. As someone who was in this state of consciousness 20 years ago, 17 years ago, whatever it was, no one knew what the fuck I was talking about. I was at a music school, like with all these young people on drugs and music, and no one knew what the fuck I was talking about. Now, I was at a hotel. I was at the James on Halloween. I was talking to this dude at the front desk, and I was like, yeah, like the vibe out there is weird. He's like, yeah, it's Halloween. I'm like, nah, but it's like weird. And he's like, yeah, it feels like an ascension. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just this, what? We're talking about ascension within 30 seconds of me saying it feels weird outside. I fucking love it. So there are people waking up to this. Don't get freaked out. Also, don't don't ego trip on this. Your ego's awesome. Make friends with it. It'll get you whatever you want. It's awesome. It's badass. It's a wolf. It's the coolest. But don't think you're better than anyone else because of this. You're not. That actually makes you worse in a weird way. If you start thinking like, I'm better, I know more, I'm a master, I'm enlightened, that shit will knock you out. You will knock yourself on your ass because it's not true. Everyone has this capacity. Everyone is going to do this. In fact, make it your job to help people do this, right? Again, that's kind of like a reality 102 and 103 thing. First things first, put on your oxygen mask. Not just financial wealth, right? Not just money. Have money related to your spiritual. Have spiritual money. Have emotional money. Have psychological money. Have friend money. Like, these are all currencies that we can use in exchange for whatever we want in life. And if you build up a storehouse of internal currency and money on the inside, money on the outside. You feel me? That's what it is. So I recognize that we may be going through some shit right now. This is the karmic purge. Do not get discouraged when shit goes wrong in your life. Do not lose heart. Do not lose faith. That's your foundation of everything is faith. And yes, if it sounds wrong and it sounds like this isn't right, I need to do something, that's fine. Do that too. Okay? None of these things are mutually exclusive, but recognize to the degree that you feel and believe something, it will inevitably express itself in external reality. Don't forget, because I forgot for about a month and I stopped saying it to myself and I see what happened. And it was nothing bad happened. I just forgot the present reality that this world is the dream. Okay? This world is the dream. Your imagination is reality. It's the only reality. It's everything. Okay? Don't forget that. If that freaks you out, that's okay. It's all right to be a little freaked out. It's actually a nice place to operate from, right? Here's the methodology for mastering your life and this reality. Flexibility of mind, indomitability of spirit, right? You can move your mind wherever it wants to go, drop things, add things as you need to, but nothing can shake your spirit. Not by might, not by power, but by spirit alone. That is literally how everything works. So get in touch with yours. Here's what's about to unfold, just to be clear. Life is about to get spectacular. We're having a renaissance. I actually thought like a few years ago it was a comedic renaissance. I was like, oh, these comedians, they're so amazing. They were just at the forefront, comedians and artists of really getting to what's going on. This is a spiritual renaissance. You know, the renaissance of like the Italian Renaissance and all these paintings and all these amazing stuff. We're having a spiritual renaissance right now. And it's fucking amazing. People are waking up to powers, psychic people, basically talking to dead people now. I met someone out in the world and she talks to dead people too. And it was a chance encounter. I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing. I don't actually mind talking to dead people. I just wish I could maybe not cry sometimes when I'm doing that. It's like, guys, chill out. But yeah, like just welcome all of these new abilities and things coming into your life. They're boons, they're gifts, and you're the one bestowing them on yourself. So if money is still a sticking point for you, just recognize where you are. Oh, one other thing with money. If you judge other people for having money or not having money, you are fucking yourself. You are fucking yourself. And I mean everyone. If you judge Donald Trump for being gauche and just over the top and not cool and gold toilets, and you judge that, oh, guess who's not? Guess who's not going to have a good relationship with wealth and money? And Donald Trump, of course, well, should we have gold toilets? I don't want a gold toilet. But if you judge the man who wants a gold toilet, God, and I know that can be hard. You'd be like, how could someone have a gold toilet? There are starving children in this motherfucker. Ah. Well, don't do it. That judgment, you are Chinese finger trapping yourself to Donald Trump. You do not want to do that because that dude is a fucking beast and he will fucking trample you. Not many people who can stand up to the sheer indomitable belief that Donald Trump has about himself. So don't do it for anyone. You see the person who didn't give money to the homeless person or was kind of a dick with their money. You discern and recognize they're doing that, but do not judge them. It is the thing holding you back. It is the thing preventing you from having money in your life. You see someone else's success and you react negatively, you're fucking up. You see someone else's success and you go, oh my God, that is so great for them. I am so happy for them. It's my success when they're successful. I feel good when they're successful. That's just a life hack. That means anytime someone is successful, you feel great. Holy shit. Amazing. People are successful all the time, every day, millions of times a day. So you have an endless gateway to happiness and fulfillment, if that's the truth. But if the opposite is true, and you see exorbitantly rich people flaunting their wealth, and maybe they're using it as a cudgel. Maybe they're using it as a manipulation tool. And because of that, you go, they use that money. If only they would give it to them. Well, guess what you're doing? You are binding yourself because they're you. Do you remember? Everyone is you pushed out. So even the fucking murderers and the serial killers and the capitalistic pigs and all of those things, They're you. Do you love yourself unconditionally? Do you accept yourself unconditionally? Do you forgive yourself unconditionally? Well, then you have to do it for them too. To the degree that you can do that, watch what flows into your life. Watch what happens. Watch how your mind changes first, and then watch what happens externally. Seriously, that's all. I don't have any other grand tip for hacking money other than that. You will get paid to do what you love when you recognize who you are. And let's talk about creation. Nothing is actually created. Isn't that weird? Our whole point of being here is to be creative, but nothing is actually created. Huh. How can that be? Because everything already exists. It already exists, everything. We allow it to unfold and select what we want to unfold by what we choose to place our attention on. If we're straining when we place our attention, if we're tensing up when we're doing it, not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's too much. We want relaxed attention. This is why there's paradoxically all of these meditation teachers, by telling people to just relax, they're freaking people out. They're freaking people out. Stop freaking people out. Just relax. Just be cool, man. Just get around someone who's fucking chill as fuck. Smoke some weed. Have a sip of brandy, whatever you want. Just chill out. That's all it is. It's not some holy state. It's not like Buddha's only going to come to you and be like, I'm only coming to you when you do this exactly like they said to do it. Nope. Everything is meditation when you fully get it for real. For real, for real. I had something else I wanted to say and I forgot it. It'll come back. You already have everything you need. Okay. You ever have every desire you have ever had in your life, you have. Just let it unfold. Allow it to feel natural to you and see what happens. And we fight these things. We push them away because they're scary and we don't like them and they're going to make us uncomfortable. Blah, 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 blah. Don't do it. Don't do it. You already have everything you need. To the degree that you can remember that and remember who you really are, watch what happens. That's all. I guess I won't remember this other thing. Just hold on to your faith, guys. Remember, faith isn't this abstract concept. It's just loyalty to the unseen world. It exists. It is there. It is just waiting for you to find it and let it unfold. But that is your decision. It's your choice. Always. Okay? I think that's it for this episode. Join the Synchronicity community newsletter thingy, all this stuff. Rate and review this podcast. Share it with someone who's going through some money issues. Maybe it'll help them. Maybe they'll just be like, dude, you're fucking crazy. Why are you listening to this guy talk about money? I don't know what you're talking about. Work hard. Work hard. Work hard. Go to your job every day and do these things and then save all your money and save it. Put it in a 401k and that'll make you safe. That'll make you safe. That'll make you secure. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. No one has ever saved money and worked for the man their whole lives and ever been fucked. That's never happened. And I'm not saying this to imply that you can't do that. There are people who find immense joy and pleasure going to work for someone else and doing their job joyfully and joyously. That's amazing. Those people are probably much more satisfied and content. Here's the truth about desire. While it is the springboard of achieving everything you ever wanted, it springboards you up to another level and then you want something else. Do you know why? Because we're expanding and we're ascending. That's why we have physical bodies. That's why we have these consciousness-based minds. It's fun. Don't forget that. It's fun. That's why we're doing it. We get so caught up and identified with the role that we're playing, we forget that this shit is a game and it's fun. And it is a game and it is fun. And if you're going through some serious shit, I'm not making light of it. I'm just saying, like, you probably forgot that this is a game and that it's fun. Because when you wake up and you remember that, you actually can you just start having fun for real. And you don't feel guilty about it either. Like, there's two sides of this money thing. Here's something. Some people with a lot of money feel guilty. They're like, oh, I have so much and people have so little. So what do? You're going to play that game? Oh my God. It's like you're fucking yourself either way from both ends. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. No matter what, you're good. You need money, you got it. You want to figure out how to spend your money wisely, you got it. For real. Okay. This is going to become more apparent. I really do mean this with Bitcoin. We're going to see a monumental and massive shift in terms of financial value. Okay. I, I know this sounds crazy now. Where's Bitcoin? Like $9,200. All right. I bought it when it was $133. People were talking about Bitcoin going down to $2,000. It's like that. That's still so much fucking up from where I bought it and like other people bought it. This used to be fractions of a cent. Then another thing, like I tell my friends, get some Bitcoin. Well, it's so expensive. What? What the fuck are you talking about? It's percentage. It doesn't matter if it goes up 100%. No matter how much you buy, it doubles. Bitcoin is not expensive. It's relative. It is the most perfect, clear-cut example of consciousness imparting and ascribing value to a currency. This is how everything works. This is how dollars work. It's how everything in the world works. But when we look at something like Bitcoin, it's like, it's not real. It doesn't exist. There's nothing there. Your paper fucking shit that you can burn up exists? Really? Okay, cool. And if anyone wants to debate me about the merits of blockchain or really Bitcoin, the environmental stuff, I know people are like, well, it's bad for the environment. Oh, yeah, really? Well, why don't you go look at the study that says one day of Christmas lights takes up more energy than all of the year of Bitcoin. You heard? One day of everyone putting on their Christmas lights takes up more than all of the energy ever consumed by Bitcoin in a year. Okay? Let's think about all of the processing power of everything we use. Just if you want to go down these logical, weird rabbit holes of disproving or proving that Bitcoin is bad, by all means. I'm not playing that fucking game anymore. I've been involved with this shit for a very long time. I know what's happening. I know where we're headed with this. And yeah, it's a rocky motherfucking road. You think you're going to buy Bitcoin, it's just going to shoot up, you're going to live in glory forever? No, you got to fucking have faith. Persevere. That's why it's so good. It is a microcosm of what we need to do to achieve wealth in our lives. And is wealth the primary motivation of everything in life? Not for me. But I knew I was fighting it like a motherfucker by judging people who were successful, judging people who have money, being pejorative to people who had nice things, whether it was cars or jewelry or whatever. Who needs that? I'm comfortable with my t-shirt. Well, when I changed my fucking mind and realized, well, first of all, I'm bougie as fuck, all right? I'm just want to say this like super clearly so people can make sure they like, I'm bougie as fuck. Yes, I'm woo, but I'm bougie woo. Okay. When I go to Burning Man, I want a fucking toilet. Okay. Fine. I was not the spirit. I don't give a shit. That's what I want. I like it. I like being bougie. I've put in the work to allow myself to be bougie. When I go to a hotel, I want a nice hotel. Okay. If that bothers you, it's on you. I'm comfortable with my bouginess now. I wasn't for a very long time, but I knew I was. And it's like, oh God, do you know how horrible that is? When you want the finer things in life, go listen to Steve Winwood, by the way. Finer Things, great song. When you want them, but you're judging yourself for wanting them or judging other people who have them, classic poverty mindset. Classico. I'm waving my hand like an angry Jewish man right now. That is the encapsulation of this episode. All right, that's it. Holy shit, did I really just talk this long? I guess it was about money. Oh, all right, guys. Welcome back. Heading to LA. If you're in LA, want to say hi, hit me up. I don't know, smoke some weed or something. It's legal there. I'm gonna have a lot of weed, okay? That's all I know. I'm gonna be high the entire time. It's not really any different than here, but it'll be better weed probably. So that's it. I'll be there from the 7th to the 11th. I leave the 12th. I'll be back in LA a bunch. I already know it. You'd be surprised some of the things I'm imagining. Anyway, that's it for this week. I will see you soon. Maybe another episode before I go. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I love you. You're the coolest. Do you know that? You're the fucking coolest. Happy imagining. See you soon.